Hi-Fi Rush has single-handedly destroyed the Xbox Game Pass is bad for games narrative. All right, let's talk more about Hi-Fi Rush. So I just recently beat the game Monday night, and it was one of the best experiences, honestly, I think I've ever had within a video game. I'm not over exaggerating. I smiled pretty much through the entirety of my playthrough. It was just such a great treat, a change in direction of a lot of the games that we've been getting recently. And on top of it all, it was unexpected, just a massive surprise. It's already up there on my list, like I said, of one of my favorite games that I've ever played. I really hope that this means we're going to be getting sequels, because I would love to see more of these characters. The writing was great, the graphics are great, the gameplay was a ton of fun. And not only is this game showing up as being a great game for the people that have played it, it is doing phenomenally well in the sales department. So we have this article here from Windows Central, and I agree with a lot of the points within this article. And one of the biggest things throughout this generation, or at least since the launch of Xbox Game Pass, has been from the fanboys on the Sony side saying that Xbox Game Pass is not sustainable, and people who subscribe to Xbox Game Pass only do it because they don't buy games. And if you launch a game day one into the service, there's no way anybody is going to go out and actually purchase that game. And Hi-Fi Rush has not only come around and released a Game of the Year candidate, they've also completely destroyed that entire narrative. So right now, Hi-Fi Rush sitting about an 88 out of 100 on Metacritic, so very good score, very high score. Again, this is a first-party Xbox release, so it's putting Xbox in a great position throughout this year to have high quality and high scoring games through 2023. Also, we just got the Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition releasing on the Xbox consoles, and as the time at making this video, it was sitting at an 87, so it'll be another high scoring game with reviewers. And that stuff really only matters at the end of the year when they give out the awards and the Game Awards and the Metacritic Publisher of the Year, all of that type of stuff. So it just helps push the narrative forward if you're somebody trying to argue that Xbox does have quality games within their first party lineup. But what is the most interesting thing about this release in terms of the sales and how people are receiving it is that it is a $30 game, but it is also free on Xbox Game Pass. And even with it being $30 and being within Xbox Game Pass, it is in the top 10 sell-throughs for Steam. You can take a look at the list here. You have Steam Deck at number 1. I mean, it's a very expensive item, so it's generally number 1, and it's a very hot item as well. Hogwarts Legacy, which is coming out on February 10th, still at number 2, and this is pre-orders. And this is also a game surrounded by absurd controversy for no reason whatsoever. Like, I would give my entire opinion on the Hogwarts Legacy thing, but I've always tried to keep politics out of this channel. But I just don't agree with all of the boycotting of these games with Hogwarts Legacy and Atomic Heart. I just think it's absolutely stupid. So it's still there at number 2 in the top charts, and it is a game that is being pre-ordered. And then if you go down here a little further, you have Hi-Fi Rush at number 8, which is sitting ahead of Forspoken, which is a game that released the same time as Hi-Fi Rush, a game that had a huge marketing push behind it. A demo came out, all that type of stuff, and it's also a $70 game. Specifically, it says here, Forspoken had a large and traditional marketing cycle featuring prominent placements by Sony and Square Enix since 2020. Forspoken is also $70 compared to Hi-Fi Rush, which is $30, indicating that Hi-Fi Rush must have managed to sell through vastly more copies on Steam in order to chart by revenue. It's literally $50 less per copy. So they would have to probably sell more than double, maybe even triple the amount to be able to chart ahead of Forspoken, which is just a remarkable thing to see. And what this is telling everybody is that all you need to do in order for a game to be successful is to make a good game. Forspoken came out and a lot of people trashed on it. The demo, a lot of people didn't like. People were dunking on the dialogue. Now, I've never played it. It looks like it could be kind of fun, like the open world combat. I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be, just like some games are never as good as some people hype them up to be. But what the difference is between Hi-Fi Rush and Forspoken is that Hi-Fi Rush came out of nowhere, and it is a phenomenal game from top to bottom. It is almost impossible to find a flaw in this game. I was sitting through playing it and I'm thinking, is there anything here that I do not like about Hi-Fi Rush? And I honestly couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. It's almost a perfect game for me. It's really hard to get perfect scores in video game reviewing and in video game ratings, but Hi-Fi Rush has everything, checks off every part of the list for me. Story, characters, gameplay, which is like the main thing when I think about games and the reviews. It could have mediocre and maybe even poor story, but if it has incredible gameplay, I will still play it and have a great time. But it has all of that type of stuff into one thing. And then graphically, it looks better than the majority of games I've played this generation. It's cel shaded, it's animated, it just, everything is so smooth within it when you're going from cutscene from like an actual show going on, like an actual anime, then going right into the gameplay. It's just so well done. And then the colors, everything just pops and just looks so damn good. And at the end of the day, again, this shatters that entire narrative that a game within Game Pass will not sell and will hurt the actual profitability of the game. This isn't something new. We've seen other examples of this, especially at the beginning of the Xbox Series X and S, where developers were coming out and saying, hey, we put our game into Xbox Game Pass and we're making more money than before you had put it into Xbox Game Pass. The main reason being that more people actually know that our game exists. Obviously, Hi-Fi Rush being shown off at the Developer Direct was the only marketing for it, but still that's to a large crowd, so people will know that it exists, and then people start playing it, jumping in right away and posting everything on social media. It does all the marketing for you. If you have a really good game, the most important marketing is going to be that word of mouth marketing and people talking about it and then actually playing it. And that's the same thing when it comes to like an indie developer or third parties out there. They put their game into Xbox Game Pass. If it's an incredible game, it will be discovered via the user base in the subscription service, and I am almost positive that most of the time that will increase the actual sales for those games going forward. So Xbox Game Pass did an incredible job with Hi-Fi Rush. People are playing it, people are loving it, and at the end of the day, the actual subscription service that Game Pass has isn't a hindrance to these games, and Hi-Fi Rush is something out there that is going to be a shining example. I think Xbox is going to show to other developers, other publishers out there that are considering putting their game into the subscription service. But that's it for me, guys. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think about Hi-Fi Rush as a game? What do you think about its success? $50 less than Forspoken, making more money than it, charting higher on the Steam charts. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. We'll be right back.